Hey guys, this is Joanne Binford with Binford Chronicles. Welcome. We've got two fabulous guests, my co-host Mike with To the Point podcast, and we've got CJ with the Spark Free Press. Let's bring them on up. Hey guys,
How you guys doing tonight?
Hello, hello. How you doing?
doing good. Well, tonight we want to talk about Matt A. How do you say his name? Levilsberger.
I don't know. I heard he went by Berg also when he
Oh,
was
did
on
he
the.
really?
Apparently, that was his name on the reality TV show he was on. I think it was. I don't know, maybe 8 years ago. I forget what the name it was. I was just reading it. He's supposed like top soldier or something like that.
Oh my God, yeah, he's got a impressive record. Um, Levilsberger was an
Crazy.
operations director, an intelligence manager, a remote autonomous systems uh, special forces guy, Green Beret. I mean, this guy was like on the top of his class on everything. He was in the army for 19 years. Impressive record for
Impressive.
something like this to happen to this person. And I know I was talking to you, Mike, the other day because I was just so disturbed over this. I'm like, because I'm married to a veteran. So I was like, Mike, man, there's something that's not connecting here with this guy. He's like a veteran for 19 years, has an impeccable record. Why would he do this? And why did this happen? Remember that? I was just like,
Yeah, yeah.
I was beside myself.
He
I
had
hate
everything
hearing
going good
stories like
for him.
this.
Everything was going good for him, but I mean, draw the comparison, not even in the conspiracy side of it, but look at the CEO shooter. He was another one who had everything good going for him, who had no reason to throw his life away.
Right.
But uh, nothing adds up when it comes to this Cybertruck bomber. I mean, and nothing, I mean, even considering his wife and him split up, he still had young children. His career was nowhere near over with the
Mm-hmm.
military, and it's not like he was just some grunt or some mechanic. This guy had a background that he could have taken the tower down if he really wanted. So nothing makes sense. His support for Trump, his security codes being changed for Signal. I mean, how far deep did you get into this? I know you've been doing a deep dive into it, Joanne. CJ,
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I barely know anything, and I feel
Yeah.
like I'm already in a heap of information.
Yeah. I've been in it. I've been in a little bit of a dive in it, but it's hard to tell with this one where the psyop begins and where the double psyop begins, and then you got multiple layers going on here. So I think when he came out on that Sean Ryan show with supposedly somebody contacted somebody on Sean Ryan's show, but it's hard to tell because they're both intelligence operatives or have been in the history too. If that's part of the psyop, or is that factual? Did he actually reach out? And I just saw new footage breaking about an hour ago that his his head was moving half a second before the explosion. So I don't now. How does that play in there? If he was supposedly shot himself and his head was, his head went like this, whether or not, I don't know how a dead man can move their head. So
well, they do say that the bullet that he had placed the barrel in his mouth and the bullet came out the left side of his head. So he might have been turning this way if he actually indeed it was him shooting himself. I don't know, but like when I first heard this story, a lot of things were running through my head. So I was thinking, okay, I don't believe everything the FBI says. I take everything with a grain of salt. So I
Yep.
started
There's an
looking.
FBI agent in the room, and it's automatically like, I don't know if I believe anything at this
Yeah,
point.
and then I started thinking it's a Tesla car. It didn't, and he specifically didn't want it to blow up and hurt anybody else because it blew upward. And then I was thinking, okay, so what else is going on here? And I thought it could have self drove itself the whole entire way, but then he had to stop at those points to recharge. So then I said, okay, well, the last place he was at was Kingston, Arizona, and then he came in. So that was enough drive for him to go without loading it up with a charge, right? So I thought, well, anything could have happened between then and when he got to the hotel, because when he was on the Sean Ryan, when they were talking about him on the Sean Ryan show, his letter spoke about him reaching a a decision point. So wherever he was going, was the decision point the point where he was at the hotel and he was going to finish that job, or was he planning to have that car drive there with another person in there or something that looked like a person in there and go forward, and then him go to the border of Mexico? Because I was under the impression he was going to Mexico. But then that all changed when the autopsies started to come out. So one autopsy was the DNA. So they said the DNA did match the subject, but they didn't say his name. And then they said when they took the teeth, they did the tooth test, the dental tooth test, that it was identified. So for me, I was like, why didn't they use his name in both cases? You know, why didn't they say it was Matthew that was identified when they said the DNA instead of just saying subject?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe it. I know the self-driving, the autopilot on Tesla only works if you're actually awake and paying attention. The software is designed to detect that there's an actual living person behind the wheel. Now, the summons feature is designed to drive a short distance with nobody behind the wheel. So I thought before more information came out, somebody in the lobby summoned the truck with him already dead in it, because it just didn't make sense. I don't know. Like I said, I barely know any of the latest information, but I mean, the decorated war, veteran shoots himself with a Desert Eagle in a cyber truck loaded with fireworks. I mean, either, and then his manifesto was talking about,
The
they were trying
Afghan
to
War.
kidnap him. Yeah, the Afghan War, the drones were actually what? Chinese. The Chinese were flying the
Well,
drones,
the
which I wouldn't be
Chinese and
surprised.
us. Yeah, he was
Yeah, he
saying
didn't
that
say whether the Chinese or us. He said it could have
we,
been either.
right, because we both have the technology for what is gravitational, what do you call it?
He called it gravitic.
Gravitic, polar,
I gotta look this up.
No, they said they all looked it up. Everybody looked it up. There's nobody's seen any reference to any of this gravitic propulsion system. But,
propulsion, that's what it was.
which they're just vaguely kind of going off of like anti-gravity. You can have any payload, which would be insane, because you could think about it like you could have a drone, and then you could have, let's say, 1,000-person military carrier on a little bit of drone if you had some anti-gravity propulsion system. So it's kind of insane.
We have some comments here. I was watching the Bernie Johnson YouTube show, and they said and read the emails he sent. Yeah, I was actually watching it before I came on here. He says that the drones are UFO technology from China in the emails he sent, that Sean Ryan's show was where they got the emails. Self-powering. Yeah, I don't, at this point, I don't know. Like, they still haven't answered the questions about the drones. And I'm still baffled at the balloon that flew across North America. I don't know.
Yeah, so in a way, it all does. It adds into their narrative, trying to build to trying to scare the public, trying to put people on high alert, trying to get people in like a wars type atmosphere. So when they do come in with a real attack or a real sort of situation that's actually dangerous to the American public, then then people are kind of desensitized to it. They're kind of ready. They're kind of like, oh, they're already preconditioned. What do you call it? Priming the pump kind of situation there. So
Yeah, and I think the FBI was following him. He said he was being followed, and I think it's because he wanted to not just only whistleblow on what the drones were doing, but also on what happened in Afghanistan, because um, he wanted to talk about. To me, he was disturbed about what happened in Afghanistan and wanted to clear the air on what was going on over there. But definitely the drones were making sense to me and what they were saying at the on the Sean Ryan show, because that balloon that flew over us, and he's like, he mentioned that there's balloons everywhere up there, like they've been doing it for years and years and years, and people have talked about unidentified objects over time in the United States. And now that we're seeing all of these, and he had mentioned that this isn't on the show, they had mentioned this is an act of power, of showing your strength and saying, look, and I that makes sense to me, because with Trump coming in, he's going to come down hard on China, and China's posturing if this is reality. They would be using this as a posture.
I'm surprised they're not already in Taiwan. Now's their chance. I mean, now's their chance. They've got, what, 16 days before Trump is actually in office. Why wouldn't they do it now?
it's a good
I
question.
don't. It
That's a
is a
good
good
question.
question. It's got to have some kind of tie to the Bidens, to the administration that's in there right now.
Well,
So
yeah, who knows there?
yeah,
It's because Biden's totally tied in with China. I totally believe that. I mean, that's my opinion. I think he's got ties into there that lead into other places, but um, it's kind of scary. I kind of feel bad because for a while there, they weren't even. Does anybody know what his second wife looks like? Like, I've seen pictures of his first wife, the first divorce, and she was like an anti Trump person. But the second wife, to me, it's like she's ghosted. Like, I haven't seen anything
See,
on her.
I didn't know there was two different wives. I just knew
Yeah.
from the start that his ex or his girlfriend was an anti-Trumper, but there was pictures of him with a Trump shirt on. And I agree with you, CJ. I think it's like all these different obstacles are psyops. They're throwing at us left and right. And I keep referring to the Romans at the Colosseum. We're so consumed with these different spectacles going on around us that when it does finally happen, or the non-false flag actually happens, it's like we're either consumed or we're desensitized.
right. Yeah, we gotta understand what is the noise and all the noise, it's side noise, and we gotta keep focused on the signal of what's actually going on, so we can report on this. So that's why they're throwing in, oh, this letter than that letter, but which letter is true? I think they're really preparing America for something even far worse than this, and than New Year's Day, which was pretty bad. Which the other event is, I don't even know, is that connected? What there seems to be a connection is through this Fort Bragg. Now they wanted to call it Fort Liberty, but this guy, the New Orleans guy, and the Trump assassin have all trained at that Fort Bragg. Which, when a military organization like Fort Bragg want to change their building to be called Liberty,
Hmm.
something's up with it. So
Yeah.
we have a
Yeah.
story brewing on that on the sparkfreepress.com with Abel Child. They're actually they did a little bit of an investigation onto what's going on there. But there's a connection through that Fort Bragg facility.
Yeah, and see what's tough about that too is Fort Bragg is a huge facility, so a lot of military people go there. And same thing with Afghanistan. There were so many units that went over to Afghanistan that never even ran into each other. So it's hard to just lean on the coincidence, especially when it's military, because there's hundreds and hundreds of guys that go, but they're in different whatever you call them, like companies. They're different units of military
Compartmentalized. Yeah.
teams. Yeah. So and a lot of people went to Afghan, and a lot of people train at Fort Bragg's as well. So that's kind of hard. And then the Jabbar guy, he was he only did like he got in what 2015 is when he got in, and he didn't stay in that
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. And then that that Fort Bragg's was actually I speaking of that Trump assassin, they just gave the that freedom medal to the one of the guy that took a picture of the with the Trump assassin in it, and they gave Biden just gave him that medal of freedom medal or whatever, one of the highest medals a president can get.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm thinking that he was trying to send a message. And with all the intelligence and background that this guy had, he was trying to give a message for 2025. What that message clearly is, I'm not sure. You know,
What's your thoughts, Mike?
in a
I'm over here
Tesla,
I'm trying to piece things together, and I'm quickly
in a
went down
Tesla,
one rabbit hole and into the next.
he was in a
Uh,
Tesla car. You knew the Tesla car. I mean, that thing is
yeah, I
is
don't get it.
phenomenal
Like,
how it handled that explosion. And then in front of the
yeah,
Trump Tower.
but between the one him in New Orleans, the vehicles rented from the same company. They both served at Fort Bragg, along with the Christopher Roth, like you said, the would-be Trump assassin. They all spent a lot of time at Fort Bragg, and obviously, we're seeing signs of, you know, psy-op type stuff going on, some dark secret type shit coming out of Fort Bragg. That's all I can think of it. And like I said, I mean, you look at the trend with some of these guys. The guy in New Orleans, obviously, I mean, I've got video. I should have put the video up of the FBI agent saying it's not a terrorist activity. Let me see. I've got it right
Yeah,
here.
it's hard to
Yeah,
find that one now. You know, they
it's
took
not
it.
a terrorist. It is a terrorist. It's not a terrorist. They
Hold
go
on.
back.
Oh yeah, but I come prepared.
They took
Over
it
the
down. I was
investigative
trying to
lead
find it.
for this event. This is not a terrorist event.
Oh, there it is.
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found. Their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all the way to St. Anne until we can figure out what is going on. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices. This is not a terrorist event.
Of course I had to do a little editing on her video here. You know, just to
Yeah.
reiterate the hypocrisy coming out. You know, I don't think she's in any of the briefings anymore. The last briefing I saw was from a guy with a Louisiana state on his shoulder, and he didn't really take any shit from anybody in the room. But this girl, like Benny Johnson, nailed it. She can't even complete a full sentence with her nose ring in, and she's telling me this, nothing to be worried about. It's not a terrorist event, but you know, we do have other IEDs placed around town that we're looking for. I don't know what to
Yeah.
Yeah, and the timing, and then they just finally have now they have footage coming out of the IED pipe bomb in January 6th just come out like the day after all this happens. Now you're going to come out with that, and what's January 6th? Monday? Yeah. What's the timing on that? So they're definitely trying to kind of hit everybody with all this information at the same time and have them
and Trump being sentenced on the 10th in New York for the, what was it, the Carol Jean Jordan case or something like that. They're
Yeah.
still throwing at him. So yeah, they're definitely throwing everything at him. And then you have members of Congress like Raskins out there talking about the 14th Amendment, which was never even ratified. And as far as I know, he's bringing up parts of it that weren't even included, and it's the pure definition of an insurrection, if you ask me. So it's going to be interesting what else they throw at us between now and January 20th.
Yeah, and is it going to be more of what we're seeing right now? People going to these busy places and taking it out on innocent civilians.
Well,
Are
yeah,
they
yeah.
angry? And that's the other thing. What Matthew, because of the Afghan, there was a lot of innocent lives lost because of the airstrikes that they did on um, the drug facilities, and the law says you're not supposed. There's laws specifically for that to protect the civilians that are working at the drug facilities. They're not. They're just working. And so many civilians taken out. So are they going to start taking out our civilians to get back at us?
Well, I think this was like a test. They're like testing the American public, seeing how much they can get away with, see how they react to certain levels of attacks, and they're just testing their red lines, and then when they're going to come out with some gradually bigger. And I think that's what they're trying to do here. They're saying, January, maybe possibly January 19th, people have to be on kind of on guard because that's Trump's big event. They may try something at that. January 20th, obviously, is going to be a interesting day. So, we just have to kind of stay frosty at this point.
Yeah, I'm pretty worried about January 20th because there's going to be a lot of people there. And if another incident like this comes up, it's
We
going to
have a
be.
Yeah, we have a few people from the Patriots Prayer Network that will be in DC for the inauguration. I believe Damon Gal, I can't say his name right, from Jersey Shore will be there too. So it'll be interesting. Maybe a couple of the guys from the West Coast were going to make their way over too. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know. I contemplated going, and it's like I'm better off here because shit can go south real quick, especially what we saw 4 years ago. They're still arresting people for it,
Yes,
or they
they
were
are.
as of last month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that being said, they did say there was a influencer, a liberal influencer that said, "Oh, we need to get," and they're trying to get, "Oh, we need to get like 10 million people march on DC and on the inauguration day and just get out there and just stop it," kind of stuff. So they are trying to mobilize a lot of forces to kind of do a protest, is what they're calling it, I guess. So we'll definitely see how that develops.
Yeah, that could turn so ugly in big crowds like that, and it just concerns me because I think one of the messages that Matt was trying to get to us is that we might be stepping upon a year of violence upon the American people.
It'll be,
Yeah.
I hope not, but wouldn't be surprised seeing how like they're throwing everything at us from China to all but saying aliens are here and Iran and all these new all this new information about all these hit teams out for Trump, and now knowing what we know about the Kennedy assassination, I don't trust our own government anymore. I hate to say it. Like I said, if there's an FBI agent in the room, I don't believe anything anybody's saying in there because they're held ransom already. And that's part
Mm-hmm.
of our problem with these constitutional sheriffs who are in bed with the federal government for their grant money and for their training accreditations. I don't like it. I just think there's no, they're graying the line in between federal and, state constitutional type stuff. And too much federal crap going on. I don't trust anybody in the federal government anymore. Now that
Well,
we know.
Yeah, because the minute you take federal funds, now you have to follow these guidelines. They control you.
Well,
And you
that's
get
why.
used to that funding.
Yeah, that's why we really have to vet our sheriffs, and we have to make sure they are going to do what they say they do, because that's all we have locally. That's all we have. That's our best representative, and it's hard to tell which ones are kind of towing the line and just talking about it. We got to kind of just hold them accountable and just say, this is what we want. This is what we the people voted for, and we want a free state. We want constitutional rights. You guys say you're about it, so let's see if you guys are actually about it. So
Yeah, we saw that during our local elections. I mean, we had a hard time with the candidates that were running for sheriff, because you could find something wrong with each and every one of them.
Yeah, for me, it was just which one was honest about their flaws.
Yeah.
That's how, and it was a horrible way to make my decision between three guys I kind of liked, but it was just which one was honest about being a jerk. It was like, okay, yeah. Locally, I like what you're doing at the Spark. What is it you're doing at the Spark, CJ, for people who don't know already?
So what we're doing, thanks. But what we're doing is we're just trying to get the word out about that. We do have some information on the constitutional sheriffs and initiatives. I don't know if you can see that or not. You might not be able to, but
Yeah.
either way.
We'll share the link.
You look like you just put the invisible cloak over you.
Either way, you can look it up at thesparkfreepress.com. And what we're just trying to do is just trying to raise awareness about actually protecting our constitutional rights in our own local areas. I think all the best sort of politics and actions can be done locally, and we need to really strengthen our local communities. That's why we came out with the physical paper, and we're just trying to push constitutionalism in our local area. So we're kind of trying to be cutting edge, constitutionalist character out here. So we're doing that. You can reach us in sparkforfreepress.com. We love working with you guys in whatever capacity you do. We really respect what you all do over there at Binford Chronicles and Union River Connections, all of that.
Yeah, we have an exciting year ahead for all of us. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we have a new show starting on the 10th, and spearheading local school board meetings. And I think a lot of that local stuff is what we need around here. So I think it matters. The people are paying attention. It's just hard to get them to hit that subscribe button or that pay button or that thumbs up button. It's just hard to get them to do that. They're there.
Yeah, it's hard to get them to do that. But when they start losing things, they start losing rights, and then what are they trying now? They're trying the pandemic and the mask mandates, and they're going to try all that sort of stuff. When they start losing these things, they need real independent media like us to come out there and not be scared, not be tied to all these donors' money and all this Democrat, all this nonsense, that we can just speak our mind, speak the facts, be unbiased about it, and get that information to the public directly. That's where we need to come in. And I think it's integral in having a successful community. So really respect what you guys do there. And let's keep it up. Let's definitely keep it up.
Absolutely, and we've got to go. How do you feel about, CJ? We have our Speaker of the House now, but how do you feel about how that was all panning out with Massey holding his vote out, and there was a few others, and then they came around?
I don't know. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. That's all I can say. It's definitely interesting. Yeah.
How about you, Mike? What do you think about that?
I don't think everything is 4D chess, but I think in an instance like Speaker Johnson, I think it could be. Trump does have his reasons for doing almost everything he does. I don't think it's all spiteful, but I'm not a fan of Johnson. I don't think he's very conservative, or fiscally conservative at least. But I kind of defended Massey when he was getting name called, you know, by everybody. But at the same time, you know, he knew where it was going to end anyways. At least he's standing on his values. So, and that's what a lot of them should have done. And we should have had a different speaker the last go round. But here we are. The speaker isn't just Mr. Popular, it's who can get the votes and who can get the funding where it needs to be.
Yeah, I totally expected it to go this way, and I was supporting Massey as well. You know, Massey's like he's on the top two constitutional conservative
Oh
voters
yeah. Oh yeah, he's
up
great.
there, and I'm like, you cannot beat him up on standing on his principles and values. That's what the other guys should have been doing. If they
He's a
all had done
libertarian,
it,
first of all, yeah.
yeah, if they all had been doing that, it wouldn't have been an issue. But they're all too busy leading to the left all the time. And that's what's messed up our republic is we've got all these left-leaning Republicans. And but I was thinking, well, at that point, you got to choose your fight. Make sure you just get the vote in, get Trump in, and then because it only takes one vote to call out the speaker to bring it back to the floor. So do bring it back to the floor. So I expect Massey to bring that back to the floor after Trump gets in.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, if he,
and they're under a lot of pressure. You got to remember he's the only one that doesn't have an APAC guy, an APAC lobbyist. He's the only one that doesn't have an APAC lobbyist. And as soon as he pulled out of that, his wife had died. I'm not even sure what the story behind that is, but I don't know if it's coincidence or not. But these guys are under a lot of pressure, especially when they stand out like that. There's a lot of things that come into play here. I mean, it's you know, we got to kind of support them when they stand on principles, like Mike said.
yeah, he's
It
a
is a scary
hardworking man.
it's a scary environment. Which one was it that was when he was doing his interviews? I think it was the guy from Tennessee, the congressman from Tennessee that always goes doggone it, doggone it. You know, he's always he won't go anywhere without his wife, or he won't go anywhere at all. He'll go back to his office where he sleeps and calls his wife. Doesn't go anywhere in public. Doesn't go out to dinner. Nothing, because you don't know where you're going to wake up or who's going to say you woke up with them. You know, it's just, or who's going to, you know, pull a P. Diddy on you. You know, so it's a scary environment for those guys. You know, I don't know how much you believe in coincidences, but, you know, I don't know what kind of health his wife was in. But nowadays, you don't know what to expect, because now, you know, and here's a good question. Where do you think we'd be today if Trump won in 2020? We would definitely be in a better spot, but we would not know the level of corruption. It would just be talk, rhetoric. We actually
Right.
see it and have the evidence and the receipts for it now, almost like he was supposed to lose.
Mm-hmm. And that's what got a lot of people over is they experienced those 4 years, those tragic 4 years, and they were like, no, we need to vote for the guy we hate. You know,
Oh
because a
yeah.
lot of people came over that refused to vote for him last time.
We could have had Jeb Bush. We would be oblivious to everything going on right now.
It's true. It did happen for a reason. I believe that. I believe that it happened for a reason. Unfortunately, it's gotten so bad that we're seeing all this corruption out here, and it almost feels like there's no end. Like, I've got to pray for Trump, and I've got to pray for his family, and I got to pray for the representatives that are standing up because they're in the minority. So I feel like it's more dangerous and more stressful for them. They're going against the grain.
When I did
Yeah.
a search for back to the technology real quick, that gravitic technology is something that Volkswagen, or I don't even know, Vorks, it's some German company. It's not Volkswagen, but
Of course.
yep, and US military testing gravitic propulsion UFO technology. Yeah.
So yeah,
That,
yeah. Like I said, you never know. It could be the story, or it could be this. It could be the psyop. It could be the misinformation, the misdirection. So, you know, we really have to just stay focused on the signal. You know, it's important Trump gets in there with that. But, you know, when Trump's at the point Trump's at and with getting rid of the swamp is when that starts to happen, the left starts to drop bodies. That's how it's usually gone. They come out with pandemics. All of a sudden there's pandemics, there's car bombings, all this kind of stuff. So we really have to be vigilant now because they're pulling out all the stops. They're definitely pulling out all the stops and the psyops.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I found it really interesting that this is how it ended up when they came out with the DNA on Matthew, you know, and
But who knows?
his
Is that his son, or was that even his son, or was he sure it
there's
was his son?
they're saying they did it. His DNA didn't match his son's.
With his
So,
second wife?
yeah, with
Okay.
his second wife. So his son, I was thinking, you know, it's the FBI. They've done um, the morgue testing. What do you call that? The
DNA?
when they check your DNA. What do they call that? Uh,
Morbid report.
yeah, the whatever that report is. I was thinking, well, you know, it's the FBI on top of it too. So if they wanted to say it was Matthew, they probably could have forced the morgue director to falsify those
Oh yeah,
records. You know
for
what I'm saying?
sure. Those
So,
guys are
and then,
easily bought.
yeah, and then say that the baby wasn't his and this guy lost his mind. But I don't believe for a minute that he lost his mind. I just don't think he lost his mind at all. I think he was succinct and he was strategic and he was doing it for a purpose. And the purpose was to warn us of 2025 and to get the
Yeah,
message out.
I'm worried his family was threatened and he did this to protect his family. Um, I hope he's still alive somewhere. But then again, who's the dead guy? Or was he killed before the explosion? I don't know. At this point, I don't know. But I hope there's a better reason for such a good character to do something like this. Like maybe it was a signal, like you said, but
Yeah, that was my initial thing too. I was like, he was a long time soldier. He was a patriot. If they were threatening his family because he had some intelligence information he wanted to share, this was how he was saving his family. Because at first I was thinking that because we didn't hear anything of his wife. Like, where's the wife? Where's the baby? Where's the crying spouse? You
is
know,
she even
nobody's interviewing
American?
her. Yeah,
Is
I
she
don't
even
know.
because he spent most of his career, I believe, or the latest portion of his career in Germany, working for I guess the department that's actually flying drones, probably in Ukraine.
Yeah, most of
Yeah.
his time was in Germany. Yeah. So I don't even know. Like when I tried to look it up, I tried to look up marriage licenses through some search site. And out of all the things that it gave me information on, it said that he was on a no fly. Um, they had him on a no fly thing. So he couldn't fly
A
he
lot of
couldn't
help that did. That's a
fly
lot of help.
anywhere. And I'm like, well, he did drive all the way down.
Yeah, and he was on it was an approved leave, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was on leave
Yeah.
from Germany and came here.
And you guys ever hear of the Manchurian candidate kind of concept that there's things in their minds that the military can condition them to be kind of
That
activated into certain
MK Ultra.
situations? Yeah.
MK Ultra program is what it's
And
called. Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past this Fort Bragg facility to be into
No.
something like that because you're seeing three people come out of here with which Abel Child has this article on Gateway Pundit and that it delves into that. It's got 30,000 views already on Gateway Pundit. One of our contributors, and the situation is, who knows what's going on in Fort Bragg? Who knows what their condition? They probably don't even know. You know, they wouldn't even know this stuff. They kind of and all of a sudden, boom, you know, they see something on their TV and they're activated, you know. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Jason Bourne.
Well, I mean,
I want to put it past them. But what, you know, what drugs are they doing? Yeah.
Yeah, one of the guys on our network, the Patriot Prayer Network, he interviewed the girlfriend of John Wayne Gacy, and the stuff she spewed out and put out there was like it played into all of that fantasy comic book stuff you would expect from the CIA and, you know, these secret operations going on. I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh, he was a serial killer. John Wayne
Uh,
Gacy.
Not John Wayne Gacy. The one that was shot and killed after shooting Kennedy.
Yeah, the
Not John
Patsy.
Wayne Gacy.
The Patsy.
Yes.
Yeah. I know you're
The one who shot Kennedy.
the scapegoat. Yeah.
I can't believe I got his name wrong.
The scapegoat. yeah. Which is
Hold
crazy.
on here.
I literally saw
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yes. God, I cannot believe I did that. Yes,
Lee Harvey Oswald.
It was the girlfriend of Lee Harvey Oswald, and that's they were around all kinds of crazy stuff back in the day because, I mean, obviously it wasn't so much of a military operation. It was at the beginning of all this kind of stuff, you would think, but the MK Ultra stuff, I believe it stems from when they started bringing over Nazi scientists and giving them clemency or asylum and new names. The same time NASA was born. I think the guy's name is Van Braun. Look into Van Braun and, you know, one of the founding fathers of NASA. But at the time, they were bringing all these Nazi scientists over that were already experimenting on humans because that's what they did as Nazi scientists, and continued their research here.
Yeah, there's literally, they've been doing, the CIA was doing testing at that time on a drug called scalopamine or Datura, they called it, and literally they can just, it's a dust, you can just breathe it on somebody and they lose all inhibition and they will do whatever you say. You can take a tell and go to the bank account, withdraw all your funds, give it to me. So that's literally a drug that they were experimenting on that time. There is that sort of technology. It's not even too hard to make. So
crazy. It's crazy what's out there.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I didn't know it did that.
Yeah.
I didn't know it did that. That's crazy. I'll tell you what, they've got so much access to things that we don't know. We are just so uneducated on what's going on in our government, you know, all the secrets that they have. If they say it can happen, I'm thinking, you know what? And you know what? It's Hollywood. Hollywood seems to always have the know. And they create these movies that have all this stuff going
10
on
to
ahead
20
of
years
time.
ahead.
Yeah. And it's happening. It's like they have the intel.
The pre-science, the pre-science kind of fiction.
Yeah, I think John Karapi would say it's the full disclosure. They have to disclose ahead of time what they're going to do. I don't know why they have to, but it just seems like it. You know, everything in the movies have come true.
It has. It's like you watch a movie and you're like, oh shit, that's going to happen.
And it's funny you said that because I saw a meme comparing the dad on Independence Day flying the F-16 into the alien weapon, was comparing that to that Matthew Berg in the Cybertruck, that he was trying to take down something bigger by sacrificing himself. So time will tell, I guess. Hopefully Elon Musk release all the footage and we can.
Yeah, time will tell.
I don't want to see him kill himself.
Well, what is this? I want to see how is this video where his head jerks like half a second, probably a full second right before the explosion. He's going like this, like his head's moving. They zoomed in on it, and his head goes like that. So that's what I want to know. If he shot himself 17 seconds before, then how is his head still moving? And you got a big desert eagle there. Don't desert eagles go flying when you shoot it? Why was it right next to him? So some things aren't adding up there. But this is just the newest development. I just heard of it. We just
I
saw
don't
it.
know. I was trying to look it up to see if I could find that.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have the latest. I thought the gun was on the floor, and I thought he was pretty much unidentifiable except for a little piece of his tattoo and some ID that miraculously didn't get
Yeah.
burned up with everything else.
Yeah, I saw the tattoos, and crazy enough, I was trying to analyze them closely. I was like, this is really morbid because I'm looking at this burnt toast arm compared to his regular arm. And I'm like, well, I don't know. It looks like it's in the wrong position. Let me see if I still have it. I might still have it and show it to you. But I was like, somebody could have planted that way. Let me see if I got it and I can pull it up. But I was trying to look closely at it. Here it is. Let me see if I can get it up. Presentation, slides, PDF, video, share screen. Can I share this? What's it called? I don't know if I can share it here. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Trying to find it.
Well, while you're doing that, could I just?
I got it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can I just plug an event real quick? On the 8th, we're having a fundraiser for Able Child's organization that helps bring awareness to the over medicating of kids. It's going to be on the 8th of February. You can get tickets at ablechild.org. We're really trying to address the over medication of young children in this country. It's really getting out of control. But
and that's on the 8th. And where is that?
That's on the 8th. That's going to be in Vero Beach, Florida, over there by Strunk Funeral Home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're going to have the Bannons are going to be there. Dr. Gene Posca. We're also going to, who featured in Died Suddenly. We're also going to have Jim and Joe Hoft of the Gateway Pundit. So, come out, support a good cause if you can. You can get tickets on ablechild.org, or you can find a link on our website, sparkfreepress.com. We'd love to have your support.
Awesome. Yeah, you know what? It won't let me do the picture on here, Mike.
I think you have to do it as a slides. I haven't done pictures on here yet, but I think you have to share them as a slides or something like that. So the 8th is a Wednesday.
PowerPoint.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a Wednesday. Definitely a Wednesday.
Of February.
Insert.
Oh, of February.
Of February, yes.
February 8th.
Oh, so that's
a Saturday.
Month.
That's a Saturday then. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Definitely if you shoot me the details, I could put that on our socials and help spread the word. If anybody is, while we're talking about charity events, I urge everybody to check out Joe McCoy. He's a veteran who's lost his leg due to cancer, I believe. He's fighting to keep his property. During the election time, his son painted his big fifth wheel trailer, a big Trump sign, and they're in New Hampshire. And so they put a big Trump sign on his side of his trailer, well within their rights, but then they started getting fined on a daily basis, and through legal fees and court costs, they cover the court costs, and now he's got to pay back taxes and stuff like that. So we're trying to raise some money for him. If you at home could check out givesendgo.com/save Joe. His story's out there, or check out the Patriot Prayer Network. Eddie Smith did an interview with him with a more in-depth detail of how corrupt their local Republican party is there, because these people actually egged him on, and he helped get a lot of them elected. And when it came time for their support, they kind of they didn't they didn't answer the phone anymore. So Joe can use our help as a patriot and a veteran. Um, check out givesingo.com/save Joe. But don't forget to check out us at IndianRiverConnections.com also. Right, Joanne? Sorry,
Yep,
I
that's
don't mean to
right.
take over your show. It's habit.
That's good.
Yep.
That's good. It's all
I'm
good.
looking forward. I'm looking forward to Friday, right? At the 10th.
Yeah, the 10th. That's for the board report.
Yep, the board report. We have Jennifer Pippin, Kevin
Thomas Kenny.
McDonald, and we'll have Thomas Kenny on this episode also, kind of like a maiden voyage for the board report. And our goal is to have these episodes within the same week of a board meeting or a superintendent's workshop to kind of recap it for parents and taxpayers. So it'll be interesting. I hope people pay attention. Not only do I hope we get some views, but there's not many people reporting as close to real time as there isn't really. You
Yeah,
know,
that's our
we have
goal.
we have the so-called local media who will post something or print something a week and a half later, and it always seems to be an attack of the only conservatives on the board, so or surrounding the administration. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully Thomas Kenny can give us a full rundown on the latest debacle with the desegregation order. Is that something you keep up with, CJ, at the Spark?
Oh no, I do keep up with it, and I think we need that report. We definitely need information on what's going on in these boards. What we've been following at the Spark is what's going on with this hospital district right now. We actually went to the meetings there, and right now they're trying to get the taxpayers to pay $13.6 million while they want to buy a new hospital in West Palm Beach. But yet they want
Why?
us to pay 13.6. Cleveland Clinic, who makes billions, wants us to pay 13.6 million. So that's why. Well, that's the question we had, Joanne.
Yeah.
We definitely let them know at the meeting.
That's like,
Let them know.
well, we'd love to get you on more often, especially with the board report, because the ultimate goal is to spread out to the other boards and taxing districts in our county that we're subjects of, because that's what we are. You know, we're going to end up paying that bill because nobody goes to those meetings. Nobody can. And so to have a recap, to get people a little more involved, to get the emails written, to call their offices, you know, that's the only way things don't get done, is if you apply the pressure on them. So
Yeah, well, we
it's
got to keep
valuable information. Yep.
we got to keep the pressure up. And thanks. That sounds like a great report. You got coming up here. Would love to share that as well.
Yeah.
And everybody else, please share that on their social medias. Definitely.
3.6 million. That's a lot of money.
13.
13.6 million.
13.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
On another note, guys, on Riverside Park on Sunday at 4 p.m., you know that motorcycle rider that got killed during on 60. He got hit with a van, and he didn't survive that
On Route
crash.
16 girl.
He happens to be a friend of my friend, and they're having a celebration of life for him at Riverside Park on Sunday at 4 p.m. So if anybody wanted to show up, that would be nice to have, you know, just people to show their support. So that's happening at Riverside.
Thanks.
Sad. What a sad deal.
Huh?
Yeah. I says, what a sad deal that is.
Yeah.
Here one
it was
day and
really
gone the
sad.
next.
Yeah, yeah. I know. It could happen. It could happen to me. I ride a motorcycle. So people watch out. Watch out for motorcycles. And I think the problem is when you're on a motorcycle, people don't realize that your distance increases a lot faster than a car from the visual view. You know, they think you're far away because you're smaller than a car, but in actuality, you're closer than what you appear on a motorcycle.
Yep.
So they shoot out in front of you, and there's no time to stop. So
Yeah, did they find out who who crashed into him, or?
I don't know. I haven't really been able to talk with her. I've just talked with her a couple of times, and she let me know where, she's working with the family to, because I guess they're from out of town, to try to help set up, something for the funeral or their celebration of
I
life.
sure hope
Or,
it wasn't a illegal kind of driving that car, because I've been
yeah,
hearing a lot about that.
I think I probably would have heard that already. So, but I'll probably talk to her more when I see her on Sunday and
We'll
find out a little more.
be praying for
Yeah,
the family.
yeah. But anyway, thank you guys for coming on tonight and talking about a few different subjects and talking about Matthew, because that's been turning in my head. I just nice young guy working hard. There's something going on here. The dots don't really connect. And then I saw that video where they gave that final identification of him, but I'm still wondering. I just don't know if it's all true. You got to take it with a grain of salt. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, we'll be keeping an eye on updates, and more welcome to come back for any updates as the situation develops. But I don't think this is going to be the last event like this we're going to see here in the near future, because it really looks like things are heating up. And let's keep our eyes, on this.
Yeah, and everybody, don't forget to check out Mike at To the Point Podcast, and you're also on the Patriot Network. And John
Yep, the
Karapi,
Patriots Prayer Network.
Patriots Prayer Network, PPN, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then
Yep.
John Karapi with TGI Now. We all collaborated to bring Indian River Connections together. And Leo Maldonado, he's on To the Point Podcast. He's also another partner of ours. And thank you, everybody, for coming and joining us here at Binford Chronicles. And we'll see you at the next episode. Hi, guys. I just want to set one thing straight. During our podcast today, I said that Matthew had two marriages. I was referring to his um, first girlfriend that he broke up with, and that was my error. He had one marriage that I know of. So I just wanted to correct that. I didn't want to have any misinformation that he had two marriages. I am aware of one marriage and one girlfriend, the past girlfriend that was the anti Trump girlfriend. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you again for watching Binford Chronicles.